We're going to blow through Court of Criminal Appeals pretty quickly here because another insane story here. We're going to talk about all three. These are the three Republican nominees for the positions on the Court of Criminal Appeals. They are David Schenck, Gina Parker, and Lee Finley. Ken Paxton is the Attorney General of Texas. Ken Paxton is an insane person who has been impeached, investigated for blatant corruption, has used his office to attack trans people and minorities. But one of the ways that he has used his office recently, especially after the 2020 election, was to go after election fraud, which is virtually non-existent in the entire country, also in Texas. But used his office to go after election fraud. This story is interestingly very applicable to Jefferson County. Ken Paxton's office after the 2020 election was unilaterally pursuing more than 150 charges of election fraud. And a couple of examples are that he indicted Medina County Justice of the Peace Tomas Ramirez with illegally possessing absentee ballots for 17 voters. Yo, Tanner subscribed. No, he didn't. He redeemed Give a Treat to Cassie. We will give a treat to Cassie in the next Q&A. Ken Paxton indicted Medina County Justice of the Peace Tomas Ramirez with illegally possessing absentee ballots of 17 voters during the 2018 GOP primary in Medina County. He won that primary by like almost 200 votes. The idea that he committed voter fraud to get 17 votes is ridiculous. But whatever. That's an example of one of these 150 charges. Another example is that Ken Paxton indicted Jefferson County Sheriff Zena Stevens. Zena's cool. I like Zena. Indicted Jefferson County Sheriff Zena Stevens with tampering with government records and accepting cash contributions greater than $100 during the 2016 election. He approached the county district attorney for Jefferson County with this evidence and said, look, Zena Stevens cheated in our election. The county DA said, no, there's no evidence here to support that claim. Ken Paxton did not heed the criticism of the county DA and instead just indicted Zena Stevens anyways by going outside of Jefferson County to a grand jury in Chambers County. Indicted Zena Stevens anyways. Zena appealed her case, and it went all the way up to the Texas Court of Criminal Appeals. And the Texas Court of Criminal Appeals issued a ruling, an 8-1 opinion, saying that the Attorney General, Ken Paxton, must get permission from local county prosecutors to pursue cases on issues like voter fraud. He cannot just go and unilaterally prosecute individuals because he's not part of the judicial system. He's part of the executive system, the executive branch in Texas. He's supposed to be attending to executive matters, not prosecuting individuals in individual cities and individual counties in Texas. That is the job of local DAs and local prosecutors. And if Ken Paxton does want to pursue charges against local people in local counties, he has to work with the offices of the local prosecutors, the local district attorneys. The Court of Criminal Appeals, the all-Republican Court of Criminal Appeals, ruled in an 8-1 decision that Ken Paxton has to get the permission of local DAs to prosecute people. Afterwards, Paxton's allies created the Texans for Responsible Judges PAC, which dumped hundreds of thousands of dollars into funding the opponents of every judge that ruled against Paxton in the Republican primaries. 3 judges were up for re-election of that 8 that ruled against Paxton. 3 judges were up for re-election. Paxton dumped hundreds of thousands of dollars into each one of their primaries and they all lost. Every single judge lost. So every single one of these judges are Ken Paxton's hand-picked replacements for the Court of Criminal Appeals that presumably will work to empower him further to unilaterally prosecute people in Texas for ridiculous trumped-up charges of like voter fraud. So I would say vote for the Democratic candidates or Libertarian candidates, whatever candidate appears that is not a Republican candidate on every single one of the Court of Criminal Appeals elections. Do not vote for Republicans in any of the Court of Criminal Appeals elections because, like I said, all of these Republicans are new, inexperienced, have no Supreme Court, have no Court of Criminal Appeals experience, and are Ken Paxton's hand-picked servants, like buddies that are going to go on the Supreme Court. It's crazy, dog. Like, part of the reason why Ken Paxton was being impeached, by the way, like one of the criticisms, the big reason like David Covey was a big election here in Jefferson County recently, because Ken Paxton funded Ken Paxton and Dan Patrick and Greg Abbott funded Covey, who was a opponent to Dade Phelan in his primary, because Dade Phelan supported Ken Paxton's impeachment, and and Dade Phelan criticized Ken Paxton's super PAC for meeting with Nazis. Yo, Paul subscribed. Paul, you don't have to subscribe. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. That's crazy, but I appreciate it. David Covey was extremely annoying with those ads. Yeah, especially the ones where he photoshopped Dade Phelan's face onto Hakeem Jeffries hugging Nancy Pelosi, like bonkers. David Covey was insane, was directly funded by Ken Paxton and Greg Abbott and Dan Patrick, and the Texans for Texan Liberty PAC, or whatever it's called, whatever Ken Paxton's PAC is. He was opposed because he criticized Ken Paxton because Ken Paxton is the head of that super PAC. And that super PAC met with Nick Fuentes for election advice. Nick Fuentes, if you're not aware, is a Nazi, is a neo-Nazi, is like a literal neo-Nazi, like Holocaust denial, white supremacist, Jews will not replace us Nazi. Yo, hey, y'all are going to have to stop subscribing. This is crazy. The stream makes me feel like it's over. I don't know what that means. So yeah, Ken Paxton, a hype train. That's exciting. Ken Paxton, is an insane person who like was consulting Nazis on how to run elections in Texas. And whenever Dade Phelan criticized him for it, he like dumped hundreds of thousands of dollars into his opponent's campaign. So anywho, these are Dade Phelan's hand-picked replacements for the Court of Criminal Appeals. Do not vote for them. Vote for anybody else except for these people.